Good evening. Good evening. Listen, greetings, my magnificent people. Listen, women and men. Hello and happy spring. Now, I know some places it is snowing and you're looking outside like this. Doesn't look like spring to me. Well, from sunny California, I wish you all the springtime that I can give you. I hope that you are doing fantabulous and welcome. I am Deshawn Antoinette Booker and I am your maximizing coach. And you know what? This is another episode of the phenomenal, juicy, yummy cafe. That's right. This is such an exciting platform that I love that I was able to design. Then I'm going to talk about what that's like in a moment. But what do we mean when we say yummy, right? Let me give you just a little backdrop to that. You know, we always like to use these great adjectives when we're talking about how great something is in our lives, right? How something tastes, how it looks, how it sounds, even how it feels. And we love to use descriptive adjectives. Well, I really became just infatuated and I fell in love when I would hear women talking about just a snippet of what they were working on, whether it was changing their lifestyle, deciding to have a new product, a new service, a new program, even launching out to start a new business, right? Or even taking what I call the act two of their life to the next level. And they would talk about it with so much, energy and passion and love. It became real yummy to my tummy. And so I said, that's yummy. So when I began to say things that I thought were really, fascinating and barrier breaking energy behind it, I would say hashtag yummy. Well, the Yummy Cafe means your unlimited magnificence, which equals you and me. Because when you're sharing your gifts, when you're sharing all that you do, you are bringing it more to life when you share your vision. And so this is a platform, the Yummy Cafe, where I get to have a backstage pass, as I call it, because I'm just that girl, or I'm really what do we say? Inquisitive, another way of saying nosy. I love to know how women have truly taken an idea, right? And do what you do to it. You nurture it, you give gifts to it, and you shine it up real good. You do all of your due diligence, and it turns into a great, successful, thriving business. I want to know, how did she do that? Because really, a path to becoming a woman entrepreneur, as we know, really can be a tough road. It can be a tough path. But when I see women who have said no to giving up and they stayed the course and they designed this awesome product or service for those of us to say, yes, hey, I need that, right? And you go, where have you been all of my life? I want them to tell us, how did they get there? What was that journey like for them? Because we usually always just see the end result, don't we? We see the end result and we go, that must have been easy for them. Well, not always. And it doesn't mean it doesn't not have to be easy, but we have what we call those pain points along the way. And sometimes, like myself, I have just wanted to throw in the towel and say, forget it. But you find your support group, you do all those great things, but see, you say yes to it nonetheless. You jump over one hurdle, one obstacle until you really achieve your goals. Well, we need to know, how did she do that? How did she say yes when she said all these things were in her way? So the Yummy Cafe is that platform for women to share their stories with myself and with you. Now listen, if you are watching us live, you can chime in. We have direct connection with you. Please join the conversation. It's not a monologue, it's a conversation. We want you to be able to chat with us. If you're going to have questions or insights or need some clarity to our special guest, do so. We got you, okay? This is a conversation. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay so I know that you're watching it and we will get to you, of course, no problem. You can still put your comments, your questions, needing for clarity in the chat, and we're going to get to to you. I promise you that. All righty. So listen, just get your sister girls. Make sure you share this link right now and let them know. Hop on over to the Yummy Cafe. Deshawn is really getting ready to have a dynamic, my goodness, dynamic speaker for you. She is going to share all of her insights, her backdrops, her secrets, her everything, so you can write them down. Get your pen, get your paper, your iPad, get your salsa and your cup, and have a seat at the Yummy Cafe show this evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are so excited to have you here. Now, you know I like to bring in the thunder when I introduce my guests because they are yummy, honey, and they have said yes to allowing us to sit with us and allow us that backstage pass, right? So we are so excited to have her with us this evening. So again, welcome to the Yummy Cafe. Woo! Miss Denise Joy Hart is a multi-passionate designer, veteran speaker, entrepreneur, educator, writer, director, actress. You may have seen her on that hot popular show The Wire, where she had a reoccurring role, honey. Oh my goodness, she was phenomenal, and she still is doing great things as an actress today. She's an author. Her book, Journey to the Joy of Truth, is a series of essays. Denise is also a tenured associate professor of theater arts at Howard University. My goodness, right? Wait a minute, I'm not done. She comes to us today as a sought after designer and host of Design Love. Oh, Design Love show on her YouTube channel, Thrifty DIY Design with Denise Joy, where she shares inspirational ideas and solutions for your design dilemmas. She is also the founder of the Furaha method of joyful design. She helps homeowners make over their homes in custom on a budget way. I love the way that sounds, right? She loves to say this. Trust me, it's not just a makeover. It transforms your life. I have been knowing Denise Joy Hart for over 34 years, ladies and gentlemen. That's a long blessing, right? I've watched her create, recreate, reinvent, redesign, reinnovate, shape, and really transform the lives of all of her audiences, her clients, those that she have really given her gifts to in such a beautiful, selfless way. She is a creator. She is a giver. She is a motivator, an inspirational person. And listen, without any doubt, she knows that she's on the right path as a creative genius, is what I like to call her. So we are going to bring her into the platform without any further ado, because I have my pen, I have my paper, and I'm ready to write notes as she show us it's not just about designing your home and your environment, but it's also about transforming your life by design. Without any further ado, let's bring into the platform my girl, my sister girl, my friend, my soror, yes, Miss Denise Joy Hart. Hello, my sister.
Hey, everybody, girl, dang, you ramped that all the way up. Oh, my.
Yes, you are,
I'm
Denise.
like,
Listen,
what? Did
Denise
she
is
say?
so humble. She's so humble.
Oh,
Listen,
my
that's
goodness.
who you
I do
are.
want to make
I just say everything.
one quick adjustment. I'm a full professor now, which
Full
only
professor.
2% of women of color in the United States are full professors. So I did achieve that in 3 years ago. So I will
2%,
toot that
Denise.
horn.
2%.
Just 2%.
Can you imagine? I need you to say that
Yeah,
again.
2% of women of color in the academy in higher education are full professors. It's a tiny number.
My goodness. My goodness. You
Yeah.
deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve all that you have accomplished and continue to accomplish. It has been such a trip, a fun ride to watch my sister, friend, colleague, coach. She is just phenomenal. ladies and gentlemen.
We've
And
been
I'm
having a
so
good time with
excited.
life. Come on.
Oh my goodness, Denise. I'm just grateful that you said yes to all that God has called you to do. And she's getting ready to just tell us what all of that is. So listen, thank you for carving out time this evening with us. And didn't you just have your show?
I didn't end up having the show. I'm going to do it next week, so
Okay.
everybody can to join me on YouTube for my or watch the replay. Yes, 8:30 on YouTube.
Awesome. Oh my goodness. Awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, listen, we are so excited to have you with us. Thank you all for joining us this evening as we are talking about the Yummy Cafe. Denise is going to share with us and give us that backstage pass, right, into really understanding what was her journey like. Because every woman has a different journey, a different story. And it isn't some, model or equation that we really follow, right? And how do we follow that within our hearts? What does our path look like? And so I wanted to invite my sister friend on here to really just tell us, this is what it was like and continues to be like for me. So again, if you're watching us live, welcome. You are more than welcome to always add your comments, suggestions, need for clarity in the comments. Okay. We are here to look at those, to really have that conversation with you. And if you're watching the replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay so that I know you watched it on the replay. I will still get to your comments, suggestions, or need for clarifications, as you are welcome to do so. Even if you're watching the replay, we welcome you to do so. Denise, we're going to jump right in. We're going to jump
Okay,
right
let's
in.
get it.
Oh my goodness. So, I always like to call what we do in life movements, right? We're moving through one act of our life, one level of our life. And so, as I've designed the show, I call them movements, the questions, because, I just see us stacking and moving those in a very progressive way. Sometimes we have a rocky road, right? But there's still movements. And so, I just want to be able to understand your first movement, right? We're talking about your inception. How did you really begin to understand you were a designer from a child, from, an adolescent to an adult? How did that now become what you're doing today on Design Love and doing these home makeovers and everything else you've done as a creative genius is what I call it, because I've seen her work. I've seen her do it. So I want you to tell us about your inception moment to
Sure.
becoming
So
chief designer.
absolutely. So, actually, the paintings that are behind me are paintings that I painted myself. That's my work. And so, from a very young age, I was always working with paint and very tactile and wanting to hold things. I did quilts with my grandmother, which is where I learned about how to put color together to make something look beautiful. So my grandmother was a great influence. My mother was very much. We were not wealthy. We were not even moderately wealthy. We were downright poor. I always say I lived in 13 different homes from the time I was born till I was 17. That's because we had to keep outrunning the eviction notice. And so as a result, my mom didn't have a lot of money, but she had great creativity and ingenuity. So she would make a place special. And because I moved a lot, I learned how to quickly hook up a room and quickly take it down, right? Because I had to keep moving. But I like nice things around me, just things that gave me a good feeling and a good vibe. And, even a little memento, a little token or something, or a particular pillowcase. Those things, those experiences, which were not always nice, having to
Mm,
move a lot to go from school to school, but
yeah.
they set the foundation, that inception, they set the foundation for me to understand the value of having a space that made you feel good
Did
from a
you
young
know
age.
at the time? Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, from a young age. I mean, I knew that people like nice things. For example,
Yeah,
people like to look nice in their clothing. They
yes,
like to,
yes.
or people would tell you, you look cute.
Uh-huh.
They're telling you that because you put the look together nice. So I
That's
liked that experience. I liked that feeling, but I liked it in a room. So as I grew and got up in age, into high school and everything. High school, I spent most of my half of my day in high school taking art classes. So most students took regular classes. I took art classes half the day, painting, everything. I learned how to do everything. It was really an intense time. I thought I'd go on and be an artist. But your family, not very wealthy. They're thinking, girl, you better get a job to make some coins. So I kind of put I kind of put that in the back pocket. But
No,
as you
that's
know,
right.
I ended up going into the theater. But here's a funny story, and I don't know if I ever told you, but when I got to Howard, I intended to study set design because of my interest in design, but they didn't have set design.
No, no, no,
Yes,
really.
that's what
You
happened.
wanted to build the sets,
Oh
Denise.
yeah,
Like, building.
paint,
Okay,
do
okay.
build the set,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
make a pretend room because then I could be
Right.
designing a room. That was my intent. They did not
Um,
have set design as a major, and that's kind of how I ended up, on that path.
so with let me go back a little bit before we get to Howard. So as a young girl, did you know how to draw, how to paint, how to create visually? Did you know how to do that? You had that
I knew
gift.
I had a very yeah, I had the gifts. I could draw, I could sketch, I could look at things, I could just create. I was
Mm,
very gifted at that. I
okay.
used to sketch the cartoons on TV, and then I would draw new skits for them. I would make new dialogue, I would change it and make it like whatever fitting
Wow.
my scenario. I was 13. I don't know how my mother got a hold of a Bell and Howell movie camera, and I shot a movie with my neighborhood kids, a whole movie called The Chase, which I still have on a little reel, and I haven't ever seen it again. Oh
Really?
yeah, I shot a whole movie. Everybody was in it. The whole little projects. We live in a project. Everybody in the projects who had
Right,
skates
right.
or a bike or they could run, they had a role, and I had my name written on a piece of paper, director. Oh, I was 13, serious. So I understood I was extremely creative. I knew
Right.
that. I wrote poetry, had my first poem produced, published when I was 9 years old in Nebraska. So I understood that I had a gift of creating and putting words together and colors. And I was, again, multi talented even at that young age. But nobody knew what to do with me.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Nobody
Was it
knew.
nurture? Did you find yourself nurturing it yourself, or did you?
Well,
How
what
did that?
happened
Yeah.
was my aunt was a great example. My aunt Laura was a naturally gifted artist, and she was a bold woman. I remember I had to be about 11 years old. She had put burlap on one wall, and
Yeah.
then she sketched out, her last name was Rose. She sketched out with charcoal these huge roses, and then she painted them. I was just like, that's dope. I didn't even know the word, but I knew it was just so unique. So she
Right.
was a huge influence that if you had an idea, go for it,
Okay.
do it.
Okay.
You have that talent, but I never had an art lesson until I got to high school. I just had that gift for it, and we couldn't afford to send me to do anything. I had
Right.
to just kind of
Right.
work it out myself.
My goodness, I've always been very intimidated by those that were artists, visual artists. I can't draw anything. I can't do it. I remember even in high school when we had to take art class and we had to go outside with our big,
Yeah.
board or
Oh
whatever
yeah.
that thing was and paint a tree, right? And draw a tree. I was so intimidated. Literally, I had an anxiety. I just was because I was like, I just don't have that. I really
Yeah.
don't. I'm creative in other ways, but I can't draw anything. And I remember trying to just really do it the way everyone else was doing it. And I said, this seems so hard to me. So I really do find it fascinating that that is what you're born with, that just comes easy that way. And then
Yeah.
you knew at such a young age and that it was coming through. And even in the what we would call maybe the bumps and the bruises along having to move so many times,
Right.
right? You knew, well, I can just create what I need. I can
I
create
can make it
that
feel
for
nice,
myself. Right, right. I love that.
coordinating.
I love that, Denise. No, let me just for a moment ask you about the pictures behind you before I
Oh,
move.
sure. So
Yeah, I really want to
yeah,
know. Yeah,
that
tell us about
that
that.
painting is a set. It's called Fraternal Twins, and it is actually inspired by my real nephews who are fraternal twins. So that's why they are the same color, but they are different because the fraternal twins are not identical. And
Wow.
it's acrylic paint on mud cloth.
It is beautiful. Now, of
Thank
course,
you.
you did that just for yourself. What was the inspiration?
I
Besides,
just wanted to do it, so
I
I
love it. I
did
love it. I
it.
love it. Oh my god, it is gorgeous. It is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Now, anyone try to, give you a price for that?
Oh yeah, people have tried to buy them quite often. Yeah, whenever I've been like when being in the pandemic, I've been on Zoom. Oh, people go, oh, that's
Right.
so nice. I
That's
said,
what
oh, I
right.
painted that myself. They're like, really? What else
Wow.
you do?
I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. So Denise, you say you go to Howard, which is where we met at
Yes,
Howard
yes.
University, and they didn't have the
That
particular area
design.
of concentration.
It did
So you
not.
moved into acting.
Well, they said, well, what else? And I said, well, I had danced also for many
Yep.
years
Mhm.
in plays and stuff back home in Omaha. That's how I really got into theater. I was a great mover. I could
Mhm.
really move well. No dance training, but I could move. You showed me the step, oh, I could copy it and put my flair on it.
I
So,
love it. I
so
love
they
it.
thought I was. So anyway, they said, well, we think you should go into musical theater. Can you sing? Well, like you cannot draw. I can't sing,
Right.
but I can pretend like I'm singing. So anyway, I did the audition. They said my singing was passable. I knew I'd never be the lead in anything, but I could act and
Yes.
I knew that I could move well. So I
Okay.
really went into acting and just had a ball. But I wrote the whole time. They didn't even have playwriting, but
Yes.
I
Mhm.
wrote all the time. I wrote plays. Again, I was so multi-expressive,
Right.
multi-passionate expressive. It had to come out in various ways.
So I'm asking Denise this question because I know some of what I know. And during that time, you were creating art.
Yes.
Can you talk about some of that
Yes,
before
I
we
did.
move
I
into?
used to do, oh gosh, I hand painted everything because I just love, and I love fabric. So I used to do these very unique hand painted shirts. I would sell them. There was a shop in DC called Wonderful Things. Any DC old head will know this shop. It was run by this Black woman whose name escapes me now, but it was super popular. She accepted my shirts. She sold them there. I
Oh,
sold them to students and
yes,
faculty.
yes,
Each
yes,
one was unique, had its own fingerprint.
yes.
And I used to hand dye everything and it'd be hanging all
Mhm.
around my little one room
I
studio,
see. Yes,
and it was just a fun time of
yes,
exploration and serving people and providing them with something that spoke to them. And
mhm,
people really wanted those shirts.
yes.
I did shirts for a church one time. They had a retreat. The guy saw me and said, "Will you do?" It was a real snowball effect, similar to the interior design became a snowball effect too. So
Yes.
I'm not saying it was easy. You had
Mhm.
to do the work, figure out how to price things, and so I wasn't just buying the supplies, selling the shirts too low, and then I never made any money. I had to figure
Right.
those things out. Then I
Yes.
became a sole proprietor. That was the first my status as an entrepreneur way back when I took classes at because it was free through SCORE, which is through the IRS.gov or SBA.gov.
Uh-huh.
SCORE, they
Small
still have
business.
SCORE. And
Yes.
so I
Yes.
used to take the classes to learn how to even be an entrepreneur,
Okay.
because those
Okay.
classes that was all I could afford at that time. And they
Yes.
were they were sponsored by the federal government. I figured these are going to be good. I mean, they want us to be successful. They want that tax money, right?
Right, 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 right. Well, this is a good. This is a qualified,
That's
credible
right.
program, free
So
program.
I learned how to be an
Right.
entrepreneur initially through those classes.
Okay, so I'm hearing, so those of you that are watching and watching the replay, it is absolutely okay to seek out where you can get classes, where you don't have to do it on your own. You don't have to make it up as you go along, right? So many, novice, entrepreneurs believe that, oh, I don't want to say anything to anyone because I don't want to appear like I don't know. Well, you don't know,
You
and
don't
it's
know.
okay not to know, right? So if you can find, grants and programs that you can actually, link up with and really dive in and get the intellectual properties, get that information, get the
Yes.
knowledge, get the education, get the systems in place. I love that you shared that, and I watched you do that. And so, when that happened, did you continue on that route, or did you just do it on the
No.
side?
So
How did you manage that to create where you are
so
today?
so shortly after I ended that t-shirt business, I then created my very first design business, which was called Strictly Kids Decorating. By that time, I had my son, and I was painting murals on my son's wall because
Yes.
that's what you do.
Uh-huh.
And someone saw it and said, "Can you do that for us?" Absolutely, I can. How much will you charge? And I painted murals and small or large murals in kid spaces, mostly kid spaces, and that became my very first decorating business 30 something years ago.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I have to say this. I mean what I say. I say what I mean. Denise, if any of you have never seen, I hope that you had a shirt to show. I'm going back to the t-shirts, so they
Oh,
weren't
there,
just
I don't have
t-shirts.
any more.
You were such before your time.
That's true.
Would you agree?
Nobody, you
Right?
oh, absolutely, because now everybody does it. I was totally one
Yeah.
of the very few who did what many people do now.
Yes.
100%.
Denise was totally before her. I have chill bumps saying it right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm imagining I can see the one with the woman and the hair. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah. Yeah.
it was just
They were awesome.
remarkable. Yes. And so
I
I
used to
just,
dye all the clothing and I would
oh,
write hand painted poems on the
yes.
side. I mean, it was pretty phenomenal.
It
Yeah.
was. It was. So I just want everyone that's listening, including myself, that is a journey, right? That and oftentimes it happens and unfolds organically,
Mhm.
right? Whatever is in that belly or whatever's there, at some point is going to come on all the way out, right? And
Yes.
so I'm loving to hear this path that you were on. And so once you were doing the murals, did you say, okay, I'm done with that? I'm not going back to
Well,
any art. I'm just done.
I knew I had to go to grad school because I wanted to eventually teach college and I needed a terminal degree. So once I went to Sarah Lawrence College to go to graduate school to study playwriting, I had done my undergraduate as a BFA in acting at Howard. I didn't have the time and I had this young son and I had to be
Mhm.
traveling. So I finished up the last few projects that I had and I put that business to bed. And I
Yeah.
didn't come back to formal design until 2019. So it took me a 26,
Wow.
27 years to return to doing formal design. I always said, oh,
Right.
I'll just do it when I retire from Howard. I'll do it when I get a little
Okay.
older. That was
Okay.
what I thought.
Okay.
And then the
So what
pandemic hit.
happened? What happened to now we're here today talking
Sure.
about the Furaha method. So how did that what
Yes.
happened?
So it was the pandemic. It was the pandemic. Many
Okay.
people, like many people, not everyone, because everyone responds to crises and moments of profound upset
Yes.
differently. I
Yes.
got very reflective. And I remember
Mhm.
early in those first couple of months, they were telling us to go out and walk outside, get fresh air and so on. And be,
Yes.
I was
Yes.
out walking one morning and I was meditating. And as I was walking, and a voice, we say that spiritual voice said,
Mhm.
if COVID took you out, what would you regret? And instantly I thought I would
Ooh.
regret that I did not formally do interior design. Instantly I understood that was something that I could no longer wait. I couldn't wait till I retired from Howard. That
Hmm.
day I ordered a tripod from Amazon so I could put it my phone and just start taking little videos of myself just doing little stuff around my house. That
Wow.
was the day I decided I must start today.
Okay, so when you answered that question, which is a phenomenal awakening, right? That is
Yeah.
really powerful. When you heard that and then say, okay, so I'm going to start, what were you saying you're going to start doing what?
I didn't know. I went in the house. This is no lie. And here I picked the hardest thing on the planet to do. I thought, well, first, what are some things that I kind of have been avoiding doing because it's
Okay.
just, we all have I call the avoidance list. It's about
Yes.
4, 5, or 29 things on that list. And I knew that I had wanted to have I forgot the formal name of it, but it's a gap in your unfinished basement between the foundation and the ceiling cinder block wall. It's a name for it, but it needed to be insulated. It had been fine.
The
It
crawl
was
space, the crawl
no,
space. No.
it's another name for it. But anyway, I it was the pandemic, so of course
Right,
I thought
right.
I'll just do it myself. That's the
Okay.
first thing. When I say it's the hardest job I think I've ever done, but I did it. Took me a week because I live in a 1925 bungalow. None of the little squares were even. Each one was hand cut. I couldn't just cut 12 and then plug them in. I had to tailor them. Taught me patience,
Wow.
persistence,
Wow.
care, attention.
Mm,
My philosophy, which is, stop selling for, oh, that's good enough because it's not good enough.
yes,
I
yes,
got it crooked. I made sure it was straight because it's not going to
yes.
be. So I did that. Then the next thing I did was I knew that I wanted to create some cubbies in my custom closet in my bedroom. I had a
Okay.
custom closet put in that I designed and I had someone build it, but I never had the cubbies put in.
Hmm.
So I went to Home Depot, got some wood, built the cubbies and put them in and did a little video. And I said, okay, I think I'm onto something here. And so these just little projects, again, these kind of I was avoiding. I just started shooting them. I didn't know how to work the camera. I didn't know how to edit. There were lots of things I didn't know how to do. I had to
Yes.
teach myself iMovie. I taught myself these things because when I determined I'm going to put it on the level that
Yes.
it's going to be on a high level, I'm going to achieve some
Yes.
level of mastery to this, then I didn't want to just kind of throw it together. So I
Right.
committed to doing several things at once, doing projects, teaching myself how to edit. And then I don't know if you want to go down this road, but when I put a particular shot on Facebook, someone said, "Oh, could you do that for me?"
Okay.
I was
Okay.
like, "Well, yeah, I think I can."
Right. 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 Yeah.
But
Yeah.
granted, at that point, I had no pricing. I had because I hadn't really thought it that far. I honestly was just going to do videos and put them on YouTube. That's what I
Oh.
thought I was gonna do. I
Okay.
was gonna do my
Okay.
house and, that was
Right.
kinda
Right. Right. Right.
I didn't think it would jump off that fast. I thought it was gonna be the ramp up time where I, spend a couple months
Yeah.
putting stuff on YouTube
Right.
and building it up,
Right.
and bam, it just took off right away.
Because you were in the moment. You were in the zone. You answered the call.
And I
You
said,
answered the
"Yes."
call. You said yes. Right.
I didn't say,
Right.
"Girl, you can't say yes, you don't even know how to charge." Let me
Right.
tell you what I did. I got into a group, an interior design group run by an excellent expert named
Okay.
Veronica Solomon. The girl is bad. Oh, I got in her group. Now, see, I'm moving away from the free stuff through
Yes.
store. Now
Yes.
I've been in the game a long time. I
Right.
knew I wanted to link up, if not personally, just from an association perspective, with someone who was a high level master that I admired and respected. Well, when
Okay.
I got into her Facebook group, like you have a group and other people, she shared that she had a program. Well, I was right on that.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
it was a like a digital program where I could do it myself.
Okay.
Paid for that program, downloaded it, went through the whole thing. What did I learn? Pricing. What did I learn? How to
Yes.
put together my presentation proposals from an
Okay.
expert who was a veteran, and I knew I could. I see her stuff's been in I think Architectural Digest and
Yes.
things
Yes.
at that
Yes.
level. So I paid good money to learn
Yes.
how to do it at the level I want to,
Investment.
the direction I want to go.
That's right. You made the investment in yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, we're hearing right. The ideas are happening. She conceptualizes it, but then she's now putting together what? The techniques, the system, the knowledge, right? And you're feeling that, okay, and if someone is asking you, can you do that for me? And you're saying yes. How did we come up with Design Love? How did we come up with
Oh,
Thrifty DIY? How did we come up with the
that's so
Furaha
good.
method?
So let's
Yeah.
start with the Furaha method. So, I have been doing for the past since 2018 this deep dive genealogy research on my family, and understanding that my ancestors, I can trace it back only to my third great grandparents on my mother's side, and that they were definitely enslaved individuals. And my assumption is that they at some point had come from the motherland, someone. And
Hmm.
so I knew that I wanted something that had the energy of the motherland.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so Furaha is Swahili for joyful. It also means gladness, happiness, joyful. And so it was a great fit for that, me being in that space and energy of honoring my ancestors in as many ways as I
Mm.
possibly can. So the Furaha method, and then my middle name is Joy. So the
Yes.
Furaha method of joyful design was perfect. It represented everything that I stand for and I'm all about. I can design in any style, but you're gonna get that joyful vibe. You're gonna get that energy. You're gonna get that
Oh,
kineticism
yes.
when I come in your space.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I wanted that name to precede me and make people go, well, what is that? Because they don't really know how to say it, but it seemed like it's got something
Yes.
going
Something,
on.
honey. Yes. Yes. It's yummy, honey. Like,
Yes,
what
it's
is it? Tell me
yummy.
more. Right.
And
Right. Right.
so I settled on that name, and then I came up with some principles, which I'll share in a moment, to go
Yes.
with that process. And then the YouTube channel, because I love to blend what I call vintage pieces,
Mm-hmm.
gently used, well loved, cared for legacy items that people have handed down in their family. And you
Nice.
often can find those things in a thrift store, or you might thrift them. And in other words, estate sales, Facebook Marketplace, etc. You're going for the thriftiest price point for an item like that. So I
Okay.
believed in mixing that with very new contemporary items. That's a technique of being able to blend those items together. You can do
Mm.
that with any design style. And so that's hence the name, thrifty DIY with design with Denise Joy, to blend those elements together. And then DIY, you can start with DIY. Most
Not
people
me,
can do
Denise. Not
something.
me, Denise.
Most
Not
people can
me.
do, they can do something. You can do something. Don't doubt yourself. You can do
Okay.
something. And we might have to get to the smallest scale, but it still has
Yeah.
meaning. When
Yeah.
you touch something in your own home, that you put your hand on it and you
Yes.
contributed to it, when
Yeah.
you come in the room, you feel different about that room. You
Wow.
have a whole deeper sense of pride. In fact, when somebody come over, you be like, "Oh, I did that little corner right there." You like that
Right.
ownership.
You're
So
right.
that's right.
You're
That's right.
right. You're
So I
right.
treat all of my design as a collaborative. I'm the lead, but I
Yeah.
still create that collaborative reciprocal exchange.
I
Even
love
for
that.
someone who believes they can't pick color, etc., I want to get them to a place of feeling comfortable that they do have a sense of what they like. Because you know what? They picking out their clothes every day and going to work and looking good.
True. No, that's true. Right.
Most people
Right.
feel confident picking out their
Yes.
clothes. You
Mm-hmm.
do have a sense. So, Design
You're right.
Love,
You're right.
lastly, you asked about my show. Design Love, again, it's for folk like me who love design. You might love to watch it all on HGTV. You might love to go and sort of
Yeah.
shop Ross and Home Goods and things like that. Or you might like the whole bespoke method where you get custom everything. You
Yes.
just love it in different layers and in different ways. Let's demystify it. Let's
Okay.
unpack it. Let's have some
Okay.
fun. Don't make things feel off limits. I
Yes.
think
Yes.
design is for everybody at any price point. I mean that. Any price point. Because you know what? When I was real poor out there running around in the
Yes.
projects, you
Yes.
couldn't tell me nothing that my room didn't look fly.
Right. And I'm sure it did. I
Okay?
know it did. I
Oh,
know it did.
didn't play.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm going to jump and tell this quick story and I'm going to have her come right back. Denise, do you remember? I didn't know I was going to bring this up when you were talking about vintage, knowing how to find things. When we were at Howard, I was staying with the roommate, Tanya.
Yeah.
I didn't have a bed for some reason. Denise comes up. This is a true story, honking her horn. She had the smallest car. I don't know how she got everything in the car. She put things on top of the car, inside the car. You pulled up one Saturday morning, honking that horn. I look out of my window. Denise says, I found your bed. I got your bed. Come get your bed. Do you remember the Denise? It was, ladies and gentlemen, listen to the story.
I
It
can't
wasn't a
stop.
little rinky dink fold out bed.
I had
It
a
was
Mazda 3.
it was
It was a
huge.
queen size
It
bed.
was yes, it was they don't even make them like that anymore. They didn't make them like that when she found it.
Oh my
She
goodness.
said, Johnny, come here's your bed. It was the best mattress bed I have had since. I
Oh my
talked
God.
about the bed. Do you remember doing
I do
that
remember it. And what's funny is I don't know why I have this problem, but why do I get the smallest cars?
all the time?
I have a Mini Cooper, but I call the cars a truck. I always refer to my cars as a truck. And everybody says, how do you get all that stuff in those
In
cars?
there.
Again, I have an eye for size and for how to put
Yes.
right. I can pack things in there and it look like I keep pulling stuff out. They're like, you look like a magician. You just keep pulling stuff out. I remember that story. I remember.
I have witnessed you put things in your car. I have witnessed you do it. I have witnessed it. And
I
you're right. It
remember.
is just a gift in you. It is all a
Yeah.
t- it's all a part of the design,
Yeah, I
right?
can
It's
tell you if
all
it's
a
gonna fit.
part.
If it's not gonna fit, so that won't fit in that space. I know it won't fit. How do you know? That's about 42 inches. And they're like, oh my God, you're almost on spot.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
kind of crazy that my eye for measurement is so it's kind of
It's
eerie.
pristine. It is accurate. There's an
Yeah, it's
accuracy
super.
to
Yeah,
the
I could
house.
just visually
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
like I got a little little
I said,
laser in my
creative
mind.
genius. I'm not kidding when I say that.
Crazy.
I've witnessed it. And I want to just tap before we go into our next movement question. This is so good, the inception. I really want to talk about the following that you have on your YouTube channel. I mean, the
Oh, we
views
have
and the
a great community.
yes,
We
talk.
got a
How
great
did that
community
happen,
over there.
Denise? How did that?
Regular viewers and stuff. It's funny when you start anything in social media,
Yeah,
you start with, a handful of people. Whether that handful is 5, or depending upon your platform, a handful for you might be 500, because you might have, 200 million people, but you start something new.
yeah,
Everybody starts at the beginning. And so as it started to grow, I've been on social media since 2008, when Twitter, that's when I really got into social media that first. But I was so surprised. It felt just like I was back on Twitter, the
yes, yes.
beginning and everything. And people just started to regularly comment and
Mm,
ask questions. And so I knew that I was at the point where I needed to do a show, so I could have more interaction with
okay.
my regular viewers and watchers. And
Yes,
it's so wonderful, whether they're watching live, just like on your show, or they're
mm,
watching a replay. You have that
yes.
regular community, you're building community, you're bonding. People have even asked, well, can you do like a live event where we all meet up and work on something? I thought, oh gosh, here we go with the, I
Oh, I
hadn't thought
love
of that.
that. I
I didn't
love
do it.
that.
Somebody asked me
Pop-up show, a pop-up
kind of
show.
show. They want
Yes,
to go somewhere. They want to meet somewhere and make it like we're
yes.
working on something, and then we tour the city like architecture. I said, "Oh, y'all have got big ideas," and it was so fun to
I
me.
love it.
And one of my core words is adventure. So I always say, "Let the adventure begin." Here we go. You got to have
Yes.
adventure. So I love that
Oh my
these folks
goodness.
are vibing with the sense of adventure and newness, and tapping into your gifts, or
Yes, yes,
enhancing a
yes.
skill that you might have and you haven't really developed it. So it's great fun. We have a good time.
Good. I love it. Denise, this is just, it's so peaceful to watch the beginning and the blooming of where you are. I've seen it, I've witnessed it. I've said, Denise, Denise has, listen, Denise, you've owned how many homes? 3, 4, how many
Well,
homes?
I no, no. I bought 3 homes. This is my third home I purchased as a single woman by myself. Never thought I'd own a home in my life. Never thought I'd
Yes.
go to college. I
Mm,
mean, here I went to undergrad, went to grad school, became a full professor. Now I
yes.
purchased my third home, sold homes. I mean, I just kind of look in the mirror like, girl, who are you?
You kind of sure you bad.
You
You a
kind of
bad sister,
sharp.
right? You a bad sister.
You kind of sharp.
Right, exactly. I mentioned the homes because viewers and listeners, Denise would, if she was redoing one of the rooms in her homes, right? She'd be right there with the people that she hired. She'd be right there
Oh,
saying,
oh
"That's not it.
yeah.
That's not that."
Oh,
So, is that a
oh,
part of that was always there,
oh
right? It
yeah.
was
Oh
just
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, here's the thing. One of the now go into the principles of the Furaha method. So there are 5 core principles that I help my homeowners to really embrace. Number 1, honor yourself, fill your home with things you love. Number two, treat yourself better than company, because most people don't fix their house up or kind of get it till they think somebody coming. Number 3, put something with age and meaning in your home beside yourself. Number
ah,
4, stop settling for, oh, that's good enough, because it never is. And then 5, allow joy to have permanent residence in your home and your life.
I love
And
it.
so number 4 is where, when you're working with contractors or subs, oh, that's good enough. You would be shocked at how many contractors have an, oh,
Honey,
that's good enough
I'm
mentality.
going through that now.
And
Yes.
so I understand that about people in general,
Yeah.
whether it's contractors or anything. The distance between, um you've gotten to an aptitude of good skill and crossing over into the realm of mastery, that's
Yeah.
a short step, but
Yes.
it takes a lot of courage and a lot of thought to
Mm,
take that step, because you're crossing over into something that requires much more of you. Okay.
yes.
So I can, like you have this gift also. I can tell when someone is not operating from the level of mastery, and
Yeah.
they're operating from, oh, that's good enough. And
Yes.
so
Yeah.
I have very little tolerance for, oh, that's good enough.
Right.
So I'm right there project managing, and I know enough to point out or just query. I'm not trying to
Yes.
embarrass anyone, but to
Right.
say, so are you going to use Duroc on that project or something like that? Oh, I remember he got, oh, you know, I said, yeah, I know a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, a
Yes.
little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
But
I love I
I was
love
on
that
YouTube and
you
look stuff up too. So,
right. Exactly. 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 Right. We exactly. I love that you bring the balance, you tie in, it is design, right, and it is an environment, a physical place, but it's also about holistically, what does
Oh,
that look like for the individual?
absolutely.
I love that.
That's all the way. That's really
Yeah.
the whole thing of it. First question is, how do you want the space to feel?
Yes.
First question. It's the first question and the last question, because when the room is done, the question is, how do you feel? When we
Yeah.
start, the question is, how do you want it to feel? When we finish, how do you feel? I
Yes.
don't ask you how you like it. I say, how do you feel?
I love
Oh,
that.
I feel, and then people
Yeah.
start expressing, oh, I just love
Yes.
it. And it's so cozy and whatever they were after, and I just love that moment because they've
Mm,
given themselves the gift of the truth that
that's right.
they need for this season in their life.
That's right. That's powerful. Denise, that is such a transformational experience, Oh, that's such a transformational experience. I love it. We're going to move to our next moment. Thank you for sharing. You can always come back to that, Denise, and put those other things in, tie them into every single moment of question. Hurdle moments. Would you have any experience in, because today everyone's designing, right? And when the pandemic hit, everyone was redoing their outside, their backyard, their, what that looked like, their indoor, their homes, and all these things. But we see all of these different shows now on television, right? And
Right.
everything, everyone's now, talking about, improving and doing it yourself, or hiring someone to do it. When you began to get the phone calls,
Yes.
do this, and you start thinking it's time to shape this now into the business,
Yes.
some of the hurdles that maybe you went
First
through.
first hurdle that I encountered was fear, because I do not have an interior design degree. That was the first hurdle, mental. Thought, oh, I'm in these groups and there's a lot of chatter and discussion, what should you call yourself? Because and I
Oh,
get it. Somebody who
oh,
put all those years and time in, they want their street cred, they're an interior designer because they did these classes, blah, blah, blah. And then
okay.
there are people who are gifted like me. And I thought, so what I did was, to help myself, I did some research. So I said, let me look at
Mm,
who's out here in these fields who I admire, like Sheila Bridges and Bridget Romanesque. I think I'm saying her name correctly, who does not have an interior design degree. These women,
okay.
Bridget Romanesque, I'm
Oh,
probably butchering her last name, but she just did Gwyneth Paltrow's home. This is a self-taught woman. Similar, she had a different career. I believe it was as music. She was a singer and music. Very big transition. They had a love and a flair for design, and she's been designing and has her own studio and so on. So I thought, well, you know how sometimes you just need to see
yes,
somebody
yes,
else doing it. So, well, okay,
yes.
you know, let's get it.
I love it.
You
Yes,
get to be in that space too. And
yes.
I stepped into it more with more courage and more sense of, you know what? I don't
I
care
belong
if
here.
I call
Mm,
myself a home stylist or a design stylist, whatever, it doesn't matter. Because you know what people call me? A designer.
yes, yes,
So it didn't really end up mattering.
yes.
I had to stop even worrying about that because
Wow.
nobody really cared. They were like,
No,
we
no.
see what you do,
You
and I
do.
want you to do it.
Absolutely. Can you repeat,
So
bring that here?
yes, so that
Absolutely.
hurdle
I know
moment,
you
though,
can
it was
do it.
real.
Right.
It was real.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that self got in the way,
Yes.
right? Self and the thoughts and the
Yes.
having to change your mindset and then having to
Yes.
say, no, let me look at someone, who's doing what I want to do, who
Yes.
comes from my space, who comes from
Right.
where I am.
Egypt Sherrod. Egypt Sherrod. on
Oh yes,
HTTP.
I love
She just
Egypt, Sherrod.
she has no design. She has no
I didn't
design.
know that.
No, none whatsoever.
Okay.
Egypt real
Yes.
estate agent.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
That's
how
right.
she
You're
ended up
there.
moving into the
Yes.
design
Then she
space with
even did
flipping.
radio. She did
Correct. She
radio
did, yeah,
too.
she did radio. She ended
Yes.
up then the design. She started flipping. She has no design degree, none.
See, I didn't. I would,
So
but
she's
the thing is, I wouldn't have thought. Does she have
wouldn't
one? Does she or not?
it exactly. So again, I had to come to that revelation.
Wow.
These women out here building careers, get
Yes.
over it. Keep moving.
Get over it.
Just
You
get
come up
over
with
it.
that hashtag. Get over it.
Get
Keep
over it. Keep
moving.
moving.
Keep moving. I
Yes.
love that. I love that. Did you ever have a thought about its competitive market? How am I
No,
going to reach my niche or be
never.
unique? Wow, I love
Not
that.
at all.
I love that.
Not one bit. Not at
Mm,
all.
I
Because
love that, Denise.
here's the truth.
Yeah,
Um, those individuals that are for me are just for me.
I hear that all
So
the
I
time.
just didn't really put a
Yeah,
lot of time. And then my favorite, scripture, Jeremiah, for I know the plans I have you for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you,
that's right.
plans to give you hope in the future.
That's right.
There it is. I was just like, okay, let's get it. I mean, they gonna find me, because basically I've done no quote unquote
Yes.
marketing. I've done no traditional marketing.
My goodness.
Everything from the time I started in the pandemic to today, I have done 25 projects. And
Wow.
I have done no traditional marketing whatsoever. Not
Where are
one
you
bit.
sleeping? How has a hurdle been balancing teaching,
That's a great
balancing?
question. So
Yes.
my friend, one of my other sister friends said something to me yesterday that had me howling because I was sharing with her something else I had done. She said, "Oh, you just like me. We are time benders." I said, "Oh my God, that's me. I'm a time bender." She said, "Exactly." She said, "People hear us and wonder, how did you do all of that?" But we have figured out how to create a system in our life to
Yeah.
manage time in a way that the things that we need to do fit.
Okay.
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 So for example, I'm not taking on more a greater bandwidth than I can handle, because I don't want to disrupt that part of my life. Now,
Right.
here's also the truth though. I have been teaching for 21 years. I literally could teach like,
Right.
yeah, I can just like the back of my hand. Although the students are new every
Right.
semester, my
Yeah.
content
Yes.
basically remains the same. Although I bring in, I'm always in the trades, believe it or not, I'm bringing in new, fresh stuff that's current. But the baseline, I know what I'm doing.
Mhm.
So there's that. If I
Yeah.
were a newbie, I probably wouldn't have done 25. I'd have probably done 10 because I would be new, trying to figure everything out at the same time. So, so there's that. So I also have an extraordinary belief in time management.
Yeah.
So everything goes on the calendar.
Okay.
I use
Okay.
my on my phone, my Google Calendar.
Yeah.
Everything goes on the calendar, including how much time it takes to do certain things. I block things
Yes.
out, carve
Yeah.
it out, and then I'm always in the end of the day looking at that calendar to assess if what I have created to. I call it my calendar is my self love tool. It's my greatest self care that I could actually use.
I love
And
this. This is good.
absolutely. Is it realistic? Or is
Yes.
it just too
Yes.
pie in the sky? And then I
Yeah.
might adjust some things, So, you have your prioritized things that must happen in X amount of time. And then you have
Mhm.
those flex things that you could just kind of spread out over the next 2 or 3 weeks and kind of
Okay.
move them around. But it
Okay.
takes a little time to get that system going for yourself. But I've
Yes.
been doing it for 20 years now.
Yes.
It's part of my, it's so crazy that I've never even said this publicly that I actually time wise memorize my calendar. And so I know in the day what's next and
Wow.
how, yeah, it's really kind of almost a little eerie that I don't even look at the calendar. I know what's there.
Yeah.
I know the time,
Yeah.
my body's getting ready. I have my breaks built in, where I'm decompressing or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have that has not been a hurdle because I'm very protective of the
Hmm.
various quadrants that I operate in.
I
So when
love
I'm in the classroom and I cross that threshold, it's all about the
it.
transformation of mindset, skill set for those young people.
Uh-huh.
100%.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A design what? I don't even think
Yes.
of design when I'm in there.
Right.
Just
Right.
boom,
Right. Yes. Yes.
mission.
I'm so glad that you dived a little deeper there, because as women who are stepping into, starting a business, recreating their business, having a second job, doing some volunteer work, whatever it is that they're doing, they always, I hear my own clients say, Deshaun, I don't have any time. I don't have the time,
Yeah,
and I say, well, it is a mindset. And what systems do you
yeah,
have? What's your level of commitment, first and foremost,
yes,
right? So if you have a level of commitment that's 60%, then no, you're not going to do anything, right? You're going to do
right.
everything at a D minus, right? And so I love that you really gave that system of what that looks like, because
Mhm.
some people still write down in their calendar. Some people use their Google Calendar, their phone, use whatever tool you need to use so that you can
Right.
be the boss babe that you desire to be, which is why you're giving us the backstage pass, right? I love it. I love it. Okay, we're going to move to the next movement, Denise. Why is this worthy for you? What was your worthy moment of knowing this is where I need to be in this moment instead of waiting? You said earlier, I was going to think about waiting to do it.
Well, I mean, life is, some people get upset when I say this, but life is short and
Hmm.
death is sure.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't make up that line. That's a line from Downton Abbey. Okay, I borrowed that from the dialogue on Downton Abbey, one of my favorite series. I'm also a TV head. So people say, how can
I
you do all that? And you watch every TV show. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm a time bender. But
right.
life is short and death is sure. And
Yeah.
so when I remember hearing that on Downton Abbey, this had to be maybe 8 years ago.
Okay.
And I thought I don't think I've ever heard a more true statement.
Mm.
And another line from a movie that's right up there is, you either get busy living or you get busy dying. Shawshank
Yes.
Redemption. And
Yes.
so and
Yes.
so both of those are really coming philosophically from the same place.
Yes.
And I understood, I'd heard that at Shawshank and bought it, but when it was revisited with Downton, it just drove it home to me. Use all your life. Go into
Mm.
every crack and crevice in every corner to shine light on all of it. Don't leave any of it in shadow. Don't leave no stone unturned. Turn it
Yes.
all over. Illuminate it. Because it's
Yes.
a gift. This is all a gift.
Oh,
Okay. And
I
I
love
want to be used all the way up. Okay.
it.
You say,
Mm.
Denise, when it's my moment, if I'm in that car, say, girl, I used it all up.
Oh,
We crossing over to glory because it's all used up. Every bit.
every bit.
Every single bit. Every corner.
So knowing that transfer that mindset, that in your belly, in your gut, knowing that this is my purpose, this is how I
Oh yes.
serve, these are the gifts. Why would I not show up
Yes.
and serve and support in my gift? I love when you said illuminate.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes we are a little afraid to do that. We're thinking about how much should I shine or what will people
Shine it
think of
bright.
me? Right, right. Shine it bright. I don't
Listen,
even
what
like the
they say,
song.
put the sunglasses on. What's those memes?
If,
My
if,
future's
yeah,
so bright, I
if
need
I'm too bright,
sunglasses.
put your shades on. If I'm
Come
too
on.
bright, put your shades on.
Yeah, do it. Do it.
I say it often, I don't like the song, and some get upset with me. It's an old gospel song that we sing, and I change it. They say, this little light of mine.
Yeah.
I said, it's not nothing little about you. It's not a little light, right? Just say
Right.
this big light of mine.
This big light.
We've been conditioned to do that. So I love that you said until there's no more.
Just used up.
Used up.
Goodness. Beautiful.
So,
So I felt a sense of worthiness because I mean, also, God had imparted these gifts to me.
right.
And
Right.
they were there for a purpose beyond
Mm,
myself. And so, like, my paintings or just whatever, it wasn't
yeah.
just for me to do it in a little corner and just be the only person sitting there enjoying it. And when I also could see how much
Yes.
joy and
Yes.
and a sense of, I don't know, wildness that people got, they received
Mm,
when they encountered my work, that I
yes.
understood that there was a transformative energy taking
Mm,
place. And I needed to get that out there. Because I do say, I don't just transform your home, I'm transforming your life.
yes.
It's there, it's active. and that's an anointing. I'll use that word. That is
Yes.
beyond me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Right.
so,
Oh,
I mean, I'm not trying to do that. It's just people's response. I said, that's beautiful that
yeah.
they're receiving something so potent as a result of what my gift is. Let it do its thing. And I
That's
don't
right.
really have nothing to do with it
That's
after
right.
that.
That's right.
I'm just,
Right. You've given.
I've
That's
done
what
it,
you serve. Right.
I mean,
Yes.
even if I put pictures like on Facebook or something, and then hundreds of people are commenting or saying stuff, that's between them and whatever's happening, in their moment of transformation. I don't when I say I don't have anything to do with it, I think
Yes.
that's beautiful. They're
Yes.
having their
Yes.
interaction, they're having their moment.
That is such a beautiful, POV, point of view, Denise. Such beautiful insight that you carry that with. That is, it's such a humbling yet courageous POV that you stand in to be able to say, I have nothing to do with what I'm offering, but I get it, I see it, I own it, but now I've released it.
Yeah.
We
Oh yeah.
always we look for things to happen, in what's the return? Well, but that is the surrender of it all, that we give to God right what he gave to us, instead of looking for, well, I'm going to do this, but God, wait a second now, what does this look like? I hear what they're saying now. Well, bring me more. No, you're in that release and surrendering space, and that's just such a powerful place to be in. Such a
Thanks,
powerful
thanks,
place.
thanks. It's
I
a lot
love
of
that. I
fun.
love
It's a
that.
lot of fun.
I
I just
love
I
that.
just get a good feeling out of it, and and to be ready for whatever's next.
Well, let's go to. I always love to title the shows with the
Oh,
beautiful guests and their three journey words. I call these journey words because what has kept you along your path, along your journey. And I would love for you to just share with us your three and how they've shown up for you and continue to show up for you.
my favorite. About 20 years ago or so, I created this phrase: "Listen, obey, prosper." Um, there was a specific moment, which I don't have to tell that whole moment, but it was born out of this particular moment, and I realized that whether you call it intuition or Holy Spirit or however you interpret it, that there's these inner understandings, inner wisdom that's deposited in you, and that often I wasn't paying it no attention. Okay, I wasn't studying. I was like, oh, I heard or whatever. I would ignore it. But I
Yeah.
also began
Yeah.
to recognize there was a price to pay. I was paying a price. There was a loss. There was a
Mhm.
either loss of
That's right.
a courage or a loss of, it could even have been a financial loss, whatever.
Right.
So I became aware that I was missing out. I was letting things pass me by because I needed to actively participate in the things that are for me. I needed to be present. I needed to be conscious. I needed to be positioned. And if I wasn't paying attention and activating or acting on what that inner voice was saying, then I was working against a divine plan. So I
Yeah.
needed to be better tuned. And so then after listening, then I needed to be able to be obedient to whatever
Mm,
that voice was saying or that inner knowing to do it. Obey is another word for commit. I need to be all in.
yes.
Okay, it might not even make much sense to me, but oh well, I have a
Mhm.
sense, I have an awareness that this is the step I'm supposed to take. I better do it. And
Yes.
then that prosperity, most people assign prosperity to finances, but prosperity can happen in a myriad of ways. And so prosperity would be, a sense of fulfillment, a sense
Yes.
of,
Yes.
that it has been purposed, it has come to its fruition. That's
Mhm.
prosperity. And so listen,
Yes.
obey, prosper is my mantra. I just said it the other day because I didn't listen to something. And I literally said, girl, now that was a missed listen, obey, prosper moment. And
Oh,
course correct. Increased self-awareness helps you self-correct quicker, sooner, faster. So
yes.
I had
Yes.
to do that. I had to do course correct. Say,
Uh-huh.
okay, remember, next time that comes around, pay
Yes.
closer attention and
Yes.
obey quicker so you can move into prosperity because
Ooh,
it's happening all the time, every day. We're all in that space.
yes.
Listen, obey,
Yes.
prosper movement. I love it. Shared it with so many people, and they got something good from it. I got it though out of a situation where I really didn't listen and paid a steep price.
Mhm. I love it. And you know, I remember when you had it on the little magnets.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
those? I still have mine on my
A
in
lot
my
of people still have those magnets. It's so fun.
and I teach this. I teach listen, obey. I share. I say where it
Yay!
come from, and I do. I
Oh,
tell
awesome.
people. I tell my sister girl circles. You listen. Hey, Denise said this,
Yeah,
amongst many other things. But it does. And when you shared it with me years ago, it was so clear
yeah.
because it was so clear for you. So when you share it, it really does still have that anointing on it that when God gave that to you, when Spirit said Denise. So when you share it, it just says such a weight. It carries such an anointing that it just it's an
Beautiful.
awareness that happens just like that.
Beautiful.
And so it lingers and it stays. And I'm so grateful that you shared that with all
Oh,
of us.
yeah, it's the best. Seriously, it's also simple. That's the
Yeah,
thing that's good for me. It's simple. I
yeah,
get it. I know it. I can recognize it instantly. I know when I'm not. I know when it's yeah, it's
I
good
love it.
stuff.
I love it. Good
Good
stuff,
stuff.
as we say. Denise, before we release, we always want to know of any products or services or new things that you're doing, classes, workshops, before we're going to show all of how they can get involved with you and connect with you. But is there anything that you have up and coming that you're working on, designing, looking to design, and all that good,
So,
good, juicy stuff?
gosh, not a show. Listen, the folks who asked about this live event getaway thing, I'm really thinking in 2023, I'm going to put it out there and just,
I love
see if
that.
people want to do it. I think it would be great fun and educational and create that community. I love community,
Yes,
have some
yes,
community. So that's something I'm
yes.
really going to explore. And
Like it.
actually, I'm really like about 80% there. I just need
Okay,
to figure out timing
okay.
and figure out, kind of like the size and stuff
Yes,
like that, and
yes.
just put it out there and see what
Okay.
happens. I think it'll be so fun. But on Wednesday nights, folks can join me on my YouTube channel for my show Design Love. It's great fun. We cover so many different topics. And follow me in social media. Hit me up on Twitter. As they say, pull up. Let's have a social chat, a social cocktail, and let's just be in community.
And so let me ask you this as I just put there all of your social media platforms. What are some of your long-term goals? Where are we going with Design Love, honey? What's
Oh
happening?
gosh.
What
So
are
I am
yes?
I'm definitely going to I've already told my folks at Howard that I will be retiring in 7 years. And so
Okay.
I'm really creating all of the foundational build out of my design platform and empire. Eventually I want to have things like wallpaper and home goods and things like that
Yes, Denise.
because
Yes.
that's just people want that kind of stuff, and I know I can create that kind of stuff. And
Yes.
so, but that's longer term. Right now I'll continue to do projects that fit into the schedule that I have, with the energy and creative bandwidth that's available. And as I get closer to retirement, then I'll start ramping things up in another level.
Well, I want to put the YouTube up again because I want everyone who doesn't know already. They need to be in the space, in the community with you. You are, first of all, you make it so easy. It's so much fun and it's so personable. I mean, you see her energy, her personality here. That's who you get, right? Denise makes it very easy, step by step. You don't feel so intimidated. And she's really there to assist, to help, to co create with you,
Yep.
whatever's in your head. It's not just giving you a one, two, three, and you go do it on your own. She really is there to lead us, to support. Denise, I am just excited. You know that I've said it, and I'm going to say it again because she didn't say it. And I know everyone else have said it who's seen your shows, right, in your videos. We're waiting for you to have your own show. What's
Listen,
happening with
if
that?
that
I'm just
happens, that'll
saying.
be awesome. It'll be awesome. I mean,
What
I'm
do we
open.
need to do to
I'm
make that
totally
happen
open.
now?
I
Like,
I think God is the orchestrator, and so if that's the timing, it will present itself.
yes,
Um, I'm not in a hurry, or I'm just open to all of the great things that are in store for me on this journey,
yes.
and I have great peace and acceptance.
Well, I'm talking to the God of acceleration. So I'm asking God to
Go
accelerate the program, the process, the
go
path
ahead.
for
I
Denise?
hear that all the time that I should have a
Okay.
show all
Yes.
the time.
Yes. I
I mean,
mean,
all the time.
it's just wow, right? It's wow,
Yeah.
right? It's wow. And of course that's what you're going to be doing. We're just waiting for it to happen. We're playing catch up,
Yes.
so we're just putting it out there. Before we release Denise, I know you spoke to your three journey words, but just giving us a great send off. I always love to ask the beautiful women who come tonight and allow us to just have that backstage pass and to that sneak preview into your beautiful intimate journey. What would you say is your pillar of strength? What has truly kept you grounded, kept you on the know, kept you going, and kept you just being able to refresh yourself time and time again? Because sometimes we want to give up, even though we have our journey words and our mentors and our coaches, our education, our training certificates. Sometimes we just want to say, no, this is not what I signed up for, and it's too much. What are your pillars of strength or pillar of strength?
Yeah. So my pillar of strength really is my relationship with my creator, and that I understand and don't mind
Yeah.
that God is counting on me. I don't mind that God is counting on me,
Mm,
and I like it. I mean,
yeah.
we're co-creating, and so it's fun. I'm not out there. A lot of times I'm like, God, I don't know what to do. What do you think? Like I just think it's a great
Mm,
experience. It's beautiful to have
yes.
been blessed to be here alive, and I don't mind that God is counting on me. Let's do it.
I love it.
You
Well,
know,
listen,
let's get it.
I love that. That's all I listen. I'm gonna ride ditto what Denise just said. I love how you said to know that God is counting on you.
Yeah.
Woo, these are
Oh
just
yeah.
so just as awesome. You have really given such
Yes.
a wealth of not just information, but those really what I call pearls of strength, for all of us to really take. I hope that you all have just gotten so much, information, inspiration, and joy from listening to our phenomenal Denise Joy Hart as she just truly laid down, her journey with us. Denise, I'm just want to just give you my hug because I love you so
Anytime.
much. I've watched what you've done. I've been trying to get her to do this forever. Like
Oh,
Denise,
we need a whole nother show. That's what we really need.
I'm so
Is it-
excited. I'm so
Woo!
grateful to who you are and how you've said God is counting on me.
Oh
So
yeah.
with that, everyone, listen. Thank you for joining us. Continue to have a beautiful evening. I'll see you next time next month. And I'm so delighted that you joined us this evening. Thank you. As I always say, make sure that you live life magnified. Until next time, smooches, mwah, and deuces. And we will see you soon. Thank you for joining us here on the Yummy Cafe. Bye. See you soon.